Hello and welcome back to the Spartan Post Game Show. Ross Gordon joined now by the head coach here at Norfolk State University, Coach Dawson Odoms. Dawson Odoms in his first game as head coach of the Spartans fall to Toledo. 49-10 is your final score. First of all, Coach, you look at the way the game started. You can tell the little bit of rust that we might have had from some of these guys being off. Talk a little about the start of the ball game.
Well, I just think there's some plays to be made that we left out there. You could tell that and we knew that the unknowns was how would these guys respond. It's a reason I think Toledo's favored to win their conference this year. They're a very good football team, but we helped them. I thought special teams, especially our punt team, anytime you give up 21 points and you don't have offense and defense on the field, it's kind of hard to beat anybody. But again, it's the first time we've been able to go live and been able to put something on film to be able to see and make some corrections. And like I told the guys, we all got to get better. We'll evaluate film, look at our personnel, see what we're doing as coaches, and see what we can do to get better. I didn't get down on them. I know because there's some good things that we saw in that film as well. And I think once we look at it and see, we're going to see we left some plays out there to be made.
I think one thing when you look at these games, FBS, FCS type games, certain things happen towards the end of the ball game if the score's a little lopsided. So attrition and just getting tired down the stretch was something that we faced, and we kind of figured it if that's the way it happened. But you take away those three special teams plays, the score looks different, and maybe the game is a little different down the stretch. I know you're a big attention to detail kind of guy, and special teams is something that it has to be attention to detail. What can we do a little bit better to make some of those plays turn our favor?
Well, we had some stuff going on with our special teams that probably took our focus away, and we're going to practice just making sure that our timing and everything is a little bit better on our punt team, looking at our protection, and just making sure everything is, dot our I's and cross our T's. But we got a long way to go, and we knew that this first game would be challenging. We knew the first two would be challenging. You got to look at the injury report, see how we came out, and just see how we can get a better football team going forward next week.
I think one thing that you look at is the numbers at the end of it.
Yeah.
Defensively, we held up, and offensively, we put a respectable number on the board. Gaining yards, we just have to complete drives.
Well, a lot of that has to do with who you're playing. I think we counted anywhere from 115, 120 players that they had out there. So that's tough. I mean, it's tough early in the season when your guys first game and they really don't know. You don't know what kind of shape they're in. You don't know what kind of game shape they're in, and then it just comes down to that. I think nutrition is very important, especially if you're playing these FBS games. I played 11 at my last stop, and they went about the same way. But I don't think you measure by that. I think it's a gauge. You try to find what you do good in those games and how your guys respond. I thought all the way down to the end, guys were trying, and we just got to work on that part of it because losing is contagious, just like winning. And we don't want to lose in culture. We don't want to lose in mindset. But again, you haven't had a whole lot of time to change those things. So we're working together, we're growing together, and we're going to turn it around together.
Let's talk about some of the positives. I think defensively, your defensive line got after the quarterback a little bit. Had a couple sacks here today. And I think you had explosive plays. I think any coach as an offense, you want to see those explosive plays.
Well, I think we can make play. I think we're going to be a very good football team. I just think it's going to take some time. We got to go through some things before we really see. I say about the fourth game of the season, we'll know exactly what we have. I think we found some stuff out in this game that we think we can do and be able to do. I thought our offensive line gave us some running lanes. I thought our quarterback, other than the interception there at the end, he engineered drives, and that's what you want. And then when we get down in the red zone, we got to be able to execute and make some plays. But I think overall, we're going to look at this football team. We're going to be different in October than we are in early September.
Also, I think, Coach, what's on film is correctable.
Yeah.
That has to be. It's not things, they're just better. There's things we can get them correct.
Well, exactly. I think there's some things on there that's why I said we got to evaluate personnel, what we're doing. And it's the first time we all been together. That's what I told the team. It's my first time seeing them play live. Without going through a spring and getting them in the summer, we've been going against each other, and we've been controlling that tempo. So we're going to get better, but you can see the kind of football team I think we have, but we got to put it together so that the film showcase that same kind of team.
Next week, Wake Forest.
Yes.
Doesn't get any easier.
No.
It steps up a little bit. You go from the MAC to the ACC. They look good.
Yes.
They look good. Last time they were out against ODU. The things that we did today, we know we can't do, but if you're measuring it, we should get better going into next week.
Oh, we'll get better.
Yeah, and
we'll get better, but so will they.
Yeah.
You know, it's just one of those things. I've always said, this is what we have to do. And we have to do these things because we're not getting 30,000 people in our stands. If we're getting 30,000 people in our stands, we wouldn't have to play these money games. So that's a part of this process. And it's just the life that a lot of HBCUs have to live for financial balance. And I understand that. And that's what I'm explaining to these guys tomorrow. And of course, you want to play well, you want to do well, you want to give yourself a chance to win these games. But you got to have the right mindset going into those games, and everything got to line up just right. And today they did not.
Justin Smith played a great ball game today. He's a leader, and it's got to be good. It's got to be good knowing that he's the kind of player that can make some of those plays. He had a big touchdown, the only touchdown for us today, and he made a play and broke a tackle to get into the end zone. What did you see from him today?
He's special. He's special, and it's a lot of things that he does really well, both on and off the field. And if the majority of our guys would follow the attitude that he possesses as a person and how he prepared himself and get himself ready to play. That's why I work so hard, because it's guys like him that in their last year that I want so much for. And we're going to get that for him. And I just think it's going to take us some time, but we got at least 5 or 6 more days before we play again. And I'm just waiting to see him, continue to get better. I think he'll have a special season.
Thank you, Coach, for your time. We appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure. Thank you. Behold, the green and gold.
Thank you, sir. 49-10, the final score here today. From Toledo, first of all, we start the ball game, start off a little slow, but then we picked it up a little bit offensively in the second quarter. Talk a little bit about our start and being off for 651 days and then getting back to it.
That definitely played a part today. As you guys saw, we started off slow, started to pick it up here and there, but once we get everything on all 3 phases of the ball figured out, we should be good.
I think one big thing in any game is consistency and just being consistent. We didn't do some of the small things in some of those drives to continue to keep those drives going. Talk a little bit about how that consistency can get better as the game's going.
Coach Odom's definitely going to straighten that out this week as we go to Winston-Salem next week. But you harped on it. Consistency, we have to be more consistent on both sides of the ball and special teams in order to come out with a victory.
And we did have some explosive plays today, which is, I know any offense is excited about that. You had a big touchdown in the first quarter, the end of the first quarter. Talk a little bit about our explosive plays, because we did look a little bit explosive here today.
We have one of the best offenses in the nation. We just have to keep being on track, first down, second down, no penalties, and anything of that nature, so we can have chances to give the ball to the playmakers.
Besides consistency going into next week, what are some of the things we need to do a little bit better?
More effort, and get back practice 110%.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you.
Good job.